Hello there, Dr. Karen here with this episode this week of Healthy Habits, Healthy Life. And today I want to talk about something a little less 3D than I've been talking about lately. Today's topic is around the habit of reactivity releasing or releasing reactivity. Now, before you tune out, hear me out. What is this? This is not that interesting. Well, maybe you're riveted. I don't know. We'll see. um, what I've discovered over the years, and it's um, let me back up a little bit. So back in whatever that was, 2006, I was completely enamored with the movie The Secret. I was like, oh, law of attraction, I get it. We vibrate, we resonate, we attract the same resonance to us. We can be masterful at manifesting. Well, and then it wasn't so easy. Because I thought I was supposed to think positive, right? So if anything was negative, I would be like, "Ooh, get away, get away, get away, get away," right? And didn't realize that my pushing away my negative emotions or whatever that was is not the process that makes you become a masterful manifester. In fact, it's kind of almost the opposite. It's not that we languish in the negative energy or the negative thoughts or emotions, but we do have to accept them and acknowledge them and then shift them. Now, in between that stage, there are a lot of things that we do not like. There's a lot of things we do like and love, but there's a lot of things we do not like that are happening, whether it be to our jobs, families, friends, the world, politics, pharmaceutical companies, whatever, right? There's all sorts of things that you may or may not really enjoy or love. And what happens is that life happens. And then when life happens, we have a choice, believe it or not, we have a choice to respond from a place of our higher self, if you will, or we can react from the place of ego. And the way the world works right now is that there are a lot of things that are going to tempt us to react from the place of ego. So, case in point, news headlines, right? News headlines, video headlines, things that polarize people. And sometimes polarity is exactly what is needed for the day because sometimes there is a choice that needs to be made, and you have to decide what is for your personal highest and greatest good. So, polarization in and of itself is not a bad thing, but some of these headlines, some of these articles, some of the things that are shared in the media are actually, well, possibly intentionally created to get a reaction out of you. Why? Well, because if you are in a place of stillness connected to source 24/7, you are so filled or fulfilled that you don't feel like you have a need. And that's a problem for some people because if you don't feel like you have a need, then you won't buy stuff. You won't take actions that people want you to take or want to manipulate you to take. And I guess old style of marketing is part of that, and we're kind of shifting away from that scarcity mentality, if you will, with the economy and going towards more of an abundance economy. And this this knee jerk reaction to react to what we see, what we what we experience, what we hear about, what other people say, actually is like friction that prevents us from creating or manifesting the life in the world we want to see. And so I didn't really get that back in 2006. In fact, it was kind of a convoluted journey to kind of discover what all that is. In fact, I actually created a course called Unlock Your Superpowers to share what I learned, to put it in kind of an easy to digest way on how to masterfully manifest beyond what is originally taught in the secret or other law of attraction type of uh, teachers training, that kind of thing, because we go way beyond the subconscious. We go into the energetic, dimensional, and spiritual realms. And this reactivity is a daily thing that we can be aware of. Now, of course, you have to want to be a masterful manifester, right? If you don't desire that, then go ahead, turn off the video. Now, if you do desire to be a masterful manifester, to be able to attract or create the ideal future reality you wish to experience, then being able to catch yourself in reactivity and shift it is extremely important, if not pivotal. So, what is reactivity anyway? Well, it's like, for example, you see a news headline, or you watch a documentary, and you find out that I'll give you a real example. So, you find out that there's children in an orphanage that they did injection type medication, experiments on. There was no consent needed per se from their parents. They're in an orphanage, so they had really no choice to be subjected to these experimental injections. So yeah, did I notice in my body some reactivity when I heard that? Yes, and because I'm training myself in this realm, I'm not perfect at it by any means. I'm training myself as a healthy habit. I went and noticed as very, very quickly, oh wow, I'm reacting to this piece of news, to this fact, to this history. And then you can do it many different ways, but the way that I commonly do it, because it's cheap, it's free, it's easy, and it's fast, is I go into stillum, stillness through observing internal movement. So I catch the reactivity, I can feel it in my body like a right? And it's like being in a horror movie and the ghost jumps out, right? It's like a blah, that kind of reactivity. It can be really subtle as you get really good at this catching yourself thing. So when I caught that, I immediately go, oh wow, I'm reacting, not judging myself, right? It's like the heart will feel, and I'm an empathic person, highly sensitive, so I can feel into, in this case, what the children were feeling, right? So that is not a wrong thing. It's not like you're bad because you have a reaction. It's like what you do with it is what's really important. So as humans, we will react, and if we catch it early on and just acknowledge, okay, I'm having a reaction. Then what that already separates you kind of 1 degree or 10 degrees or whatever, from the being embroiled in the reactivity. You start to become objective, the witness, if you will, to that reactivity. And then so what I did was like, oh wow, I'm reacting to this piece of information in this documentary. And so I just sat with that and felt the energy in my body and was like, ooh, I can feel energy over there, on my heart area. Okay, got it. Right. It's traveling here and there. So that stillness through observing internal movement, that is the process that I use and I teach. It's actually in chapter 4 in my Sensitivity is Your Superpower book, the step by step. And I also have a free 30-minute training that you're more than welcome to take if you haven't already. I'll put the link near this description. It's stillnessonthefly.com. And as we just continue just noticing what happens in our body, we get into that, what the spiritual teachers call the witness stage. Again, we're not telling ourselves, bad, stop reacting, right? We're not hitting ourselves and punishing ourselves for reacting. We just acknowledge and honor, oh, wow, that's a human experience. I'm reacting right now, right? And then we go into stillness and feel, in my case, the easiest way for me is just to feel the reactivity in my body and just be there with it. Just be there with it, not judging it, just be in the body while I am reacting. And what's very interesting is the reactivity tends to transmute itself. It tends to just release on its own. Now, it's not that I'm like saying, well, you have to release now and, like you got 5 minutes, hurry up and release. It's not like that. It's a different energy. It's just being in the body in the reactivity is a way to accept and honor it. I mean, of course, you can say, I accept and honor you. Yes, but I'm being in the body is a way to accept and honor it. And when I can accept and honor it in the body, then it tends to just transform. Yeah, just transform. Hi, Lil. Yes, thank you so much. I love you, Lil. You're the awesomest. Thank you for commenting. Yeah, so releasing reactivity is huge because we will be given information, sometimes day in and day out, that is going to cause a reaction or tempt us to go into reactivity. So I'm getting to that place now where I can be in stillness before I consciously decide to watch a documentary or something that might be triggering, being prepared ahead of time that I might be triggered, and just go in and out of stillness, or tune into stillness as often as I can, and then really sit back and not be triggered. I'll give you a funny example the other day. Sometimes we just don't know like the perceptions of others, and it's okay if they perceive things different from us, and we can honor that space. Like what I think is cute and funny, somebody else might think is horrific. And I'll give you an example how people may react. And I'm not judging the other person for reacting. It's just a way of going, oh, what humans do that, like just being really, really compassionate around that. So I was trying to get more into, growing our own food and being more self-sufficient. And I haven't been known to have a really great green thumb. So it's kind of interesting. I bought these grow bags that have little windows on the side. And I thought, well, in these grow bags, I can grow like beets and carrots and onions and things in there. And we left them outside most of the summer and they grew stuff. I was so excited. So we finally, harvested the carrots, and they definitely don't look like the carrots at the store. They're all sorts of interesting shapes and stuff. And so I pulled the carrots out, and there was one little carrot about this big, right, that looked like a person, and it reminded me of Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy. I thought this little carrot was so cute. It was like saying hi, right? And I thought, well, this is cute. I'm just going to go ahead and connect with my family members and just share with them this cute thing, because we do that sometimes, and just keep it light and funny, and just stuff like that. Occasionally I'll send mom controversial stuff, but most of the time it's positive stuff, right? Like that they can laugh at. Well, it's like sometimes I'm like, oh, I really can't guess how mom's gonna react. So she said, what kind of devilish carrot is this? I thought she was kidding at first, but no, she was serious. Yeah, I sent it to my dad as well, and he's like, mom's very concerned, this is a devilish carrot. I'm like, seriously? Okay. Never thought of that one. But like I got to experience like somebody else's reaction to that. And now on my end, I'm not saying they should or shouldn't have. I just thought, well, that's interesting, right? So people will have different reactivities and things like that. But if we can manage their reactivity for ourselves day in and day out, oh my gosh, our world is transformed. And why that works is because, like I said, it's friction, right? So the reactivity is friction that's preventing you from manifesting your ideal future reality, or co-manifesting our ideal future reality. So if we want similar things, joy, peace, love, harmony for all, prosperity for all, health for all, right? Then it is a responsibility, if you will, for those of us that are conscious to really pay attention to our reactivity and release it. So I just shared my method of releasing reactivity. You might have yours. And if you do have one that really works well for you, please do share in the comments, and let us know, hey, this is how I manage my reactivity. It could be anything. It could be exercise, it could be meditation, it could be reading a book, it could be, taking a bath. I mean, whatever works for you. For me, the easiest one for me is stillness through observing internal movement, because I get in the body, because I tend to get in the head a lot, like a lot. I have all sorts of ideas like all the time up here. And when I go, oh, pay attention to the body, then it starts to naturally release from me. Yes. Lil says, ooh, yes, even better. Enter stone before viewing or participating in an experience that beforehand might be filled with triggers. Brilliant. That's awesome. Yes. And Lil, you are really good at levity communications. That is fantastic. Yeah. So, so that is a strategy, a healthy habit that I have, and it's one that is ongoing. It's not one that we finish, right? And the thing with healthy habits is usually most of these healthy habits are ongoing. And I think there's a book. I forget the author. If you know the author, you can post it, or in the comments. Atomic Habits. So one of my coaches mentioned it, and one of the things that is mentioned in the book apparently is if you attach a new habit to an old habit you already do, then you're much more programmed for success. Now, for reactivity, I would say my old habit, which is a new habit for some people, but my old habit is stillness through observing internal movement. So when I'm triggered or when I have negative emotions or things like that, then I use that technique or tool to go into the 0 point field and transform those energies automatically. I like to say it's an auto healing state. But another example of atomic habits, that particular recommendation is if you brush your teeth every day and you have a new habit, for example, and this is very practical. So you have, say, LifeWave patches that you're using or you've bought, but they're brand new to you, right? I can't tell you how many times people have said, "Oh, I forgot to use them." So we teach them to put them next to something they do every day. So that could be next to your coffee maker, although not too close because it can be hot. But it could be, on your what do you call it? A dresser? What do you call those things? Counter, yes. In the bathroom, right next to all your toiletries. And that's where I have it. I have a little basket, a handmade basket from my friend, and I have all my patches lined up here. And so every morning and every night when I go to brush my teeth, I go, oh, right, patches, right? And I get them all out, I put them on the counter. And then every time I go pee or bathroom, I'm like, oh, right, patches, right? And then I put my patches on. So that's an example of an atomic habit where I just attached it onto something else that I'm already doing. That's already a habit. I don't have to think about it. Like, how many times do you have to remind yourself to take a shower or brush your teeth? Actually, don't answer that. I don't know. um, so that can be really, really helpful. So the releasing reactivity is going to be a little bit more subtle and maybe difficult to attach it to a certain time of the day. You could if you wanted to, but definitely if you know you're potentially going to be in a conversation that's triggering, like, holidays are coming up, you're like, oh gosh, oh, family members, okay, how's this going to go, right? So or a movie you're going to watch or a documentary, or you choose to scroll through Instagram or Facebook, right? And things might be triggering. 15-year-old football star dies of myocarditis. Things like that, right? Then you can do ahead of time is go into stone first. So that would be your atomic habit. And then just continue being aware. So that whole awareness, the releasing reactivity is so huge. I can't even tell you how huge that is. That is a life transformer. And the cool thing is it's free. It's free. You don't have to buy anything. Yeah, it's free. It can be totally transforming. It is a habit. It is maybe a new habit for some people. So, hey, be patient with yourself. You might go through 5 days of reactivity and go, oh man, I was so upset. I lost so much energy, right? I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. I could have done Stoem or I could have done XYZ for my reactivity. And that's okay. You did catch it eventually. All right. So let's see if there's any other comments today. James Cleary, I think. Oh, okay, so maybe that's the name of the book. Thank you, or the author. Thank you so much, Tiariana. Thank you. That's a beautiful name, by the way. Yeah, we'll have to check out the book. I have about 6 books I'm partially reading and getting slowly through them. Yeah, next to your toothbrush, Lil. All right. Thank you, Lil. Lil said, love your healthy habits videos. Great. So that's my healthy habit, healthy life video for today. So hope you enjoyed this. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel, hit the notification bell so you get an alert every time I do a new video. And feel free to comment. Let us know what your atomic habit is or how you release reactivity on a regular basis. Would love to know. Love you to share. And we'll see you next time. Bye for now.